Monday, April 21st. It's the Moretown Selectboard. We're here at the John Hugboom Meeting Room. And we're going to start right off. We've got public comment, so let's get going. We've got a fairly busy meeting tonight. So who was here for public comment? Roll up, if you could, just for, and we all know who you are.
For the record, Deborah Carroll. I live in Moretown, right on Route 100B, next to the fire station. I'm here tonight because Dawn stopped by my house the other day to let me know that on the fire station side, the cedar trees that are on the side of my property, they're going to be cutting. And he just wanted to let me know, so when I saw people walking around back there, I wasn't like, whoa, what's going on? And that's cool, and I just asked him to be mindful that there are birds that nest in that trees, including a set of pair of cardinals. And I don't want the nest cut because I love watching them.
No, I don't.
We could maybe just delay the trimming until after nesting season, which would be like July 31st or something.
Okay.
So if we delayed it till after that, then I think generally there's no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it, just if as you cut things down, just be careful.
Yeah.
And it's near where the gable is and the window that looks out towards my property. That's where the nest is. It's right up in one of those
kind of
trees.
almost in the middle of the rod.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but just if you're careful, I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chickadees and other birds that are in there too, but just watch for nests, please. The other reason why I'm here is there's been a couple of things that I've been working on with Ray on my property. There's a couple of drains out in the street that were put in by Dubois when they did the sidewalks, right? Because they were going to put sidewalks on my side of the street too. But the drains are too high right now. If the sidewalks went in tomorrow, they would be great. Drains would be fine. But the drains right now are too high, and what happens is the water comes rushing down the road. It's depositing all sorts of silt in front of my place, and Piazza's place, and the Frank's driveway keeps getting washed out. So it washed out a little bit the other night, but when we had the big rains, I think it was like last summer, there was a trench that was like 2 feet deep all down his driveway, and it deposited all of the debris from his driveway into the backyard, and it looked like crap, and it made their driveway, it was a mess. So I went out and worked with Jason and Lori, who are in Frank's place, who are really nice people, and I like very much. So we spent 2 days shoveling wheelbarrowfuls of the gravel and bringing it back up and dumping it back in the ditch to repair that. We've done it to that extent once, and to another minor extent another time. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, so I know you guys have all seen Alan and Becky's house, which is, did the select board or the DRB, did zoning know that they were going to raise that house 10 feet like that? Was that something that was approved?
I think, and I can't speak for the zoning, but I know it has been asked, and I think it has been looked at. There's nothing illegal going on there, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, and I don't have a problem. I just wish they'd create a bin shape because it looks like crap. It really looks terrible, and it's like it's a spectacle, this sky-high house, and people come to my house and they're like, what the hell is going on over there? But the other reason why I asked about that is one of the things that happened about the same time that they filled in their driveway, and I have sent an email to you. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I know that Dawn had not seen the email. So I'm assuming it wasn't, I don't know.
No, I don't distribute our, if you send it up to Sasha, she will. And so I had Ray look at, Ray gets it. So
I realized that Ray wasn't on the select board anymore.
No, he's not on the select board. He's working for the select board.
Yeah.
So he's coming actually to one of those things he's going to address, so we can push in now because he's looked at that.
Yeah. So when that happened, and it's probably just a huge coincidence, and you guys finished this project out here, but at about that time, my basement started filling up with water. It started seeping in. There's also a drain pipe that I thought it was the big drain pipe that came from, that they sealed off when they did the roads, but it's actually a smaller drain pipe, and it's just pouring water out of it. Still, it's continual, and I think it has something to do with either the underground water patterns or the springs. And if it were the springs and we knew where they were, and Ray's looking into this for me, and we knew where they were, we could cap them off, which would solve this problem in my basement. I have spent about 23 grand waterproofing my basement, and it's a lot of money that I didn't want to spend on that. So anyway, if we could figure out where those, I'd really like to encourage you guys to make that kind of a thing. And really look for those springs, figure out where those springs are so we can cap them, or figure out a different way.
Well, again, we've asked Ray to look into it. The zoning has looked into it, but that's certainly something that would take lots and lots of effort and time to review the deeds, and that's really not a town responsibility.
Okay, all right.
I mean, we're willing to help Deb as much as we can, but we can't assign someone to
figure out where those springs
just
are.
bring out where all this.
Well, one thing that Deb showed me, where it's flowing, this one, never mind what's going on in her foundation, the
Right.
one that's flowing by her house into her backyard, and then continues on and flows into behind the fire station's leach field. So it's, it's affecting the land there, and then it kind of makes its way over to the drainage that's, this flood has really done some damage to. There's a built spillway there from a big culvert. I don't, this is not Doctor's Brook, but it's before that. I don't know what that one is. That's kind of been damaged by the flood. I don't know if anybody knows that, the damage.
It's the new culvert that they built when, at first they wanted to dig up my property and put a new culvert on my property, and I said no, because there wasn't an easement. And I said, do it on the other side of the fire station, which is what you guys did. But nobody has ever looked in, nobody's ever been down there to maintain it. I've never seen anybody down there looking at it, and it's kind of a mess. But
Yeah, it's kind
Well, that is our response. That is something we should do.
Yes.
It's kind of gotten filled in.
Well, what Don was saying is that other pipe that I was talking about, in my memo to you, I said there was a pipe that I thought the seal was broken.
And I think Ray addressed that
But it's
already.
not. It's not that pipe. It's a different pipe.
So there's two pipes right there.
Yeah.
There's the smaller drainage pipe, which has got the water flowing out of it now, which is on this side of the fire station.
Right.
And there's, on the other side of the fire station, we ran a...
Right, and that's the one
we
that
ran
Don just said is a mess or someone.
But the one that's on my side of the fire station, I don't know if it's a perimeter drain for the fire station or if it comes from someplace else.
I couldn't...
It looks like it comes under the road, it looks like, doesn't it?
Yeah, I put a stick in it to see which direction, and it goes pretty much straight up for the road.
It could be headed towards the fire station. The fire station has been there since '99. Now, I don't know of, any drainage issues we've had before now with that, I don't remember
It's-
putting any drainage.
It's
any more
never been
drainage
out to.
around me.
It started flowing about the same time as I started getting water in my basement. So my guess is it's whatever water system is impacting my basement is also impacting that.
But we don't know where that is, if that is a perimeter drain for the fire station. or
We
where
don't
it's
know.
coming.
We don't
Or if it's from the pond, or,
Yeah,
or all the water coming down the hill, or...
but it's been there
Well, if it's
since.
coming out of
Well, the pond has like a
Right,
its
that
own
one
drain,
drain.
these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
right? So it's probably not that, but right.
It's a 6-inch pipe that definitely comes, like I said, I don't know where it's coming from. But what it was doing was it was pouring water out of there, and it was going to destroy the leach field in back of the fire station. So I went out there with my shovel and I dug a ditch all the way from my property all the way in back of the fire station, and I connected it with
That
the big
culvert.
drain, the big culvert, so that it would flow. And now it comes down and it flows, and Stephen and I
Yeah, but
went
it's
out
all
there.
very soggy.
Yeah,
It's not,
It's very soggy,
it's
yeah.
not drainage pipe, it's just a ditch.
You can come down and take a look at it anytime anybody wants to. Feel free to walk.
Well,
through
it's
my
on the
property.
fire department land, right? Is that-
Well, there's a stake there, and I don't know. if
Yeah, I
that
think it
stake's
is.
been moved.
I saw it because I was trying to figure out if the cedars were on, to make sure they're on town
Yeah.
land. So you weren't home, Bob, so I was walking
Yeah.
around the fire station. So yeah, I think that I do have the survey at home on my computer, and I think you and the fire station both go to the river. So I think
Right.
like where that ditch is going behind the fire, that hand dug ditch, I think that's on the fire station, like you're saying.
Yeah, I dug
Yeah.
that ditch. But what needs to happen really is, because that ditch is just gonna get filled in so the next time the water comes up. So what needs to happen there really is some perforated pipe needs to go in, and, or a pipe just extending that thing and buried. So I've got it dug already for you. You know, you're welcome for saving the leach field. But anyway, that's what I wanted to let you guys know about, and also find out about the progress of getting those drains lowered, those 2 drains lowered.
So we have sent that to the state.
We did
Yes.
send it to the state, that was 2 weeks ago. I haven't had a response on that, so I guess I need to follow up on that.
Right.
And now things are, spring is here now.
Yeah.
We should be able to get a response from the state. It's their responsibility to hike those cats because they've paved since that drainage has been put in, so.
Right, or they paved up to them, so they should have done it correctly the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have sunk them. You know, if you pull them out, sink them about 2 inches, taper it down in there, it'll take care of a lot of problems right there.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at inside them, I think they're on bricks, they're made to adjust.
To be able to
It's just a
adjust.
matter of pulling the cast iron off, taking a roll of bricks out, and putting it back in. It's not a huge repair. Just by looking at it from
Right.
the field. But get someone to do it is, it's really a state responsibility at this point.
So that's one, and then 2 was, I think if we found the springs and we found the source of whatever water there was, it would fix both the problem back at the fire station and the problem in my basement. I have my sump pump goes off every 2 minutes and 48 seconds,
Yeah, so
24/7.
24/7.
Yeah, so I'm Michael. Nice to meet you, Deb. I did the forest management plan for the town land, and I don't remember running into any like well-defined spring tiles when I was out there. Right, so yeah, I just don't remember off the top of my head like being like, oh, there's a spring here or there's a spring here, and so
It could come from Doctor's Brook too. I mean, there could be something that
yeah, it could be,
springs over from
yeah.
Doctor's Brook. I don't know. I really don't know.
My gut feeling is
Brandville still has a spring.
that much water, if it was passing underneath the
Okay.
road, I think
It
there'd
is
be
how-
some
Yeah.
evidence in the road itself,
Right.
that there'd be
That's
some
all it
collapse or
comes
something.
Well, unless it's inside the pipe, you know? Well, it's going to come to my house.
Yeah.
It's got to come
If the water is flowing, I don't know where that pipe is. If the water was flowing underneath the road without a pipe, I think there'd be evidence, because there is a lot of water, that there'd be some damage.
Right, should be a sinkhole there or
You would
something.
think,
Sinkhole or
yeah.
something.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Right,
Would you-
and
Deb, have
if
you-
you change the flow of the water, yeah, I wouldn't want to just, or something, or if their house construction or whatever had changed the flow of the water, you probably wouldn't only see the impact just in your basement, you'd probably see it somewhere else.
Well,
I would assume.
Yeah, no, I mean,
When
I
they
have
put
no
the
idea.
sidewalk
It has
in,
nothing
Ray,
to do with that.
did they
It's-
come across
it's not
any
their
springs
fault.
when
It's
they
not
put
their
the
No, I'm not suggesting it is, but yeah.
So when we were doing the sidewalks, the last drain I can remember, I recall hitting was at Frank's apartment. There was one going across the street that we were told we put it back together. We hit it, we put it back together. We didn't abandon it, we should have abandoned it, but.
There was a drain or a spring?
It was a
Spring
It was a
line.
spring line. It was like an inch long.
Mhm.
That's the last one I can remember. And
Have you considered like digging in front of your property? Like
Have I? Yes.
Right. I mean, I think because if you did that, that might give you an opportunity. You may see an abandoned line that's there. I would agree there. I think there are a lot of lines that are coming down the hill. They may not be documented or or they may. I swore at one point I'd seen a document that had them on there. But where they come from, or I don't know, but I think, you know, if you dug in front, you might find where it came across and made it, you know, it may have collapsed or broke or something like
Right,
that.
right, exactly. Okay.
I mean, we'll continue to look as, you know, as Ray's been looking at that. I think the pipe that you pointed out, that you dug the ditch, will address that. And if we find out, you know, it's not on our property, we'll still figure out a solution. I believe it is, and we'll take care of that. And I appreciate you digging the ditch and saving the leach field. That's what you did.
And it was messy, it looked like crap back there. It was just soggy and awful, so. Okay, well, I don't want to take up too much more of the time, but thank you for listening to me.
Yeah, one suggestion for you is, you know, either the town might have one at the DPW, or if not, you can rent a push camera. So it's like a 2.5-inch little camera on a reel. So you have 100, 150, 200 feet of line, and just push it in there and you can see where it goes. So there's not maybe actually just like they might rent them at Ace.
Ace.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think they
It's a
do.
push camera, and so it'll go in and give you a live feed of what's in there.
It'll show
You can
you.
see how, where it
If
turns.
it bends or if it
Try to
turns.
give you a sense on how far is it. Does it actually go across the road, or is it just stop somewhere?
Will it give you a map of like the direction of it somehow?
If you get a fancy one, then yes, but those will be in, I don't know if you can get those Ace. But
Yeah.
if you get ones that have locators, it'll tell you exactly where the footage is going.
Where it is.
You can tape it.
Yeah, you can actually-
tag to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. No, you
Yeah.
not the craziest idea.
No,
Oh, yeah,
I don't know, it's worth a shot if you have an air
We
tag.
do, we do.
But they have the ones, like you said, that connect right to your smartphone. You just stand above it and it says, this is where it is below you.
This is where it is. Huh,
It's an
interesting.
idea, and then,
I don't suppose that's something the town might do.
Let's consider that. Let me talk with, again, Ray, but
Yeah.
Don's been over there, and yeah, I want to work with you, Deb, and figure it out, help you out if we can. And again, I don't know where all the responsibility lies, but if we can do something, let's
If you all
Yeah.
work
figure it out.
together, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a weird coincidence that, I mean, maybe it's just a weird coincidence that it all happened when the work got finished here. You know, the impervious surface got put in here, and then Howland Village's basement, and all of a sudden I start getting
Lots of water.
lots of water in my basement. I was like spouting.
No, I saw
We
it.
spent 2 months down there, round the clock, every 3 hours, pumping 30 to 50 gallons of water in my basement with a shock vac. It was backbreaking. Thought I was going to die. All right, well, I won't
Certainly,
take more of your time.
sorry for,
Thank you,
If you want to
guys.
stay for
Thank
the
you.
school.
Thank you, Deb.
Appreciate it.
I'm gonna go home for dinner. Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
Deb. Have a nice night. Is there any other public comment? Travis, I know you had walked in. Do you have anything?
I think we moved the
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Is there anything else for public comment? We're good. All right, so we have the school board members here to, you guys want to roll on up? Please, or walk up?
There you go.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight.
Thank you for having us.
And again, for the record, if you
Get a
just
little update.
state your names and then we'll update maybe for us.
Sure. Benjamin Clark.
And Steve Rosenberg.
Thanks, gentlemen.
So I'll start. and
Sure.
Then can jump in. So as I'm sure you all know, there's been a lot of outcry about the possibility of Moretown Elementary School closing. And what's happened is we got a report from the consultants that gave several options. And it looked like all of them involved closing the Moretown School, but in fact there were a couple other options, which was A, do nothing, or B, keep all the schools open but float a bond. And the reason we're thinking about a bond is the district's identified $8 million in deferred maintenance needs between now and the next 3 or 4 years. And the reason it's so big is stuff hasn't been done for many years. So that's 80 million without any upgrades. So I would guess, just off the top of my head, that a bond to maintain and upgrade the school systems, to modernize them, would be, I'll say, 125 million. And if we did that, according to the consultant's projections, over 30 years, we would save something like 450 million over not doing a bond and just fixing things as they break. The other options they presented that involve closing schools save more money. But my personal opinion is I would like to just go the bond route. But this is not based on enough information yet. I don't know if it's really feasible to keep Moretown and Facein open with a bond in the long run. And I don't know what a bond will do to our property taxes. Things have slowed down in that the consultant company is going to do a school-by-school assessment this summer of all the facilities to see kind of what we're really talking about. So things are kind of on pause. There's been a lot of community involvement from Moretown to school board meetings, which I think is actually pretty terrific. It's been helpful and influential. We also met with the staff at the school. That was also very helpful. So that's kind of where we are at the moment, I think.
Yeah. The only other thing I would add to that is that anytime you're talking about, processes, looking at a particular problem from a, sort of bureaucratic standpoint, you take things in steps and you're looking at things in a long-term solution-based process. And where we currently are is in taking in information. So we do want to just really push out there that at no time has anyone decided a solution, or has anyone decided that we're moving forward with something rather quickly. We're talking about something that if we're deciding on a solution, it may come to the point where that solution comes due years from now. So this is something that's going to take a while, but right now we're gaining pieces of that information. I think there are board members, and frankly, I haven't come across any, and you're not going to be too surprised or shocked by this, that board members really didn't get on to the school board to close their own damn schools, right? That's not why we all signed up for this. But having said that, we also are really cognizant of the fact that we don't want to put an undue burden. Again, we feel like we're just getting on top of the burden that the state put us on with taxpayers, and now, with an idea of a bond maybe fixing all of this, it does feel, gutturally speaking, like another burden. But as Steve just so eloquently put, you're talking about something that not only is gonna not close schools, but also will fix buildings and maybe even upgrade them. So now we're taking in that information, right? And so it's taking in information, it's sitting with it, it's talking it over, it's mulling it over in a very public way, not behind closed doors, in front of cameras, asking people to talk about it amongst each other, asking people to try to convince each other of their own opinion, because we are very much representatives of our communities. We weren't elected to be trustees. We were elected to be representatives. So we very much appreciate, even if that means that one year we're all for consolidation and the next year we're not, and maybe the next year we are. If you guys change, we change with you, right? So our job is to reflect what we see in the community, but we have to hear from you, and we have to hear where you're at, and we have to hear, we have to take in that information. At the same time, we have to responsibly do our job in the fact that if we're listening to that, but we're also taking in other information that says, yeah, but if you go, with option X, you're just going to be paying for option X plus option Q plus option Z later on. In addition to that, there may be some decision-making processes that we have to do because we're on the board. But having said that, we adjust our sails depending on the electorate and depending on what everybody thinks. So this sort of townwide discussion is very helpful for us. It's also something to keep in the back of our minds is where the state currently is at with redistricting, because it's certainly in the back of our minds as to whether or not we're going to be into these very large super districts. So and we don't have details about that because it hasn't really come to fruition yet. So.
I had a question.
Sure.
So you said it's $80 million in deferred maintenance?
Yeah.
And why is that? I mean, has the state put additional requirements on the things with PCBs and all this stuff,
I
or?
think that's only a small part of it.
Okay. That just seems like a huge
It's a
deficit.
huge amount.
But, so Rob, not to interject, I've been emailing Steve and blah-de-da, but a lot of that is like redoing hardwood that's in there.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, just so.
I mean, that's 40 million right there.
Oh, okay.
There's been a lot of deferred maintenance on our.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean,
It's like when you're gonna put in an HVAC system or when you're gonna put in new lights, they have to meet these new standards.
new standards, yeah,
Exactly.
certainly. Okay. So it's a kind of a combination of
It
both.
is.
So, okay, all right.
I mean,
And then when it comes to the bond, I mean, that should be a pretty basic calculation, right? It's going to be the number of taxpayers in the district divided by 125 million over the term of the bond? Is that how you would go about that, or?
I guess.
And would this be a bond that would have to be voted on by each town in the district, or would it be district-wide?
Right, so that anytime we're doing a bond, that goes by the sort of traditional bond route. So you would have, that would all go out to the electorate
And that would be something to do on town
I
meeting?
think it would be district-wide, I think.
Yeah, just like the last bond that they
Yeah.
instituted. I mean,
It's all, those are all traditional bond
Okay,
routes.
all right, I'm just curious
I mean,
why we're,
to me, the complexity of this issue is, if you just look at the arithmetic, then schools like Moretown, Facein, and Warren to some extent are expensive
yeah.
because they're relatively small. But if you look at it from the value to the community,
Yeah.
that's huge. So that's the kind of
Right.
back and forth.
Yeah.
And again, it's not the loudest person in the room. It's not the person who always is publishing their opinion. And it's not the person who is wearing the loudest color t-shirt.
Right.
And I'm saying that as somebody who, I designed the SOS t-shirts. So I along with Kristen, like we got the orange t-shirt thing going.
Yeah.
So it's a numbers game. So if the vast majority of Moretowners feel one way, let us know. If the vast majority of Moretowners feel another way, let us know that. But the numbers game is really important to us, because that way we can accurately represent, what you want us to represent.
What our wants and needs are.
Yeah, well,
I guess the state's opinion is basically it's our problem to deal with, and I guess.
The state seems to be slowly moving towards reconstituting this fund we had to help offset construction costs for schools. But, it may happen, it may not. It's a few years down the road in any case.
But I think what's important to having people in Moretown tell you yay or nay is just like this is to what I found in the 2020 cycle of a very similar issue, that the flow of information just wasn't getting out there in any coherent way. So, to Steve, you guys, doing posts in front of Butch Forum obviously is a good way for people to be reading about what's going on, or, maybe periodically, coming to a select board meeting with updates is, then people can see it on, either be here or Zoom in or see it on TV or whatever.
Absolutely, and we're always happy to come. I think our biggest concern, anytime we show up and say something, or anytime we publish anything in front page forum, is that we want to be accurate. And after last year, it's hard to be accurate. Because the state often says, well, wait, not so fast. And so we want to make sure that what we're giving you is accurate information that isn't going to change on you.
Good.
Because then how can you possibly trust what we're saying? So if we have a moment's hesitation, it's only because of that. But having said that, thank you for giving us this forum, and thank you for inviting us, and please invite us more, simply because if you have particular questions, or if there's something that anybody is like, hey, can you promise us that you will never close down Moretown Elementary? I think our simple answer to that is, would you ever really want us to promise anything, no matter what happens in any circumstances, in any context? I think we can always just say to you that if you guys want us to all do one thing, we're probably going to do that one thing, but you have to let us know that you all want us to do that one thing.
Well, it's trying to figure out what that one thing is.
Right, exactly.
And it doesn't sound like no one really knows what that is yet.
We're not, we haven't taken in all the information yet.
That, as well as the bigger picture of what's going to come out of Montpelier.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So for right now, it's going to be business as usual. Next fall's going to come and schools are going to open.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we're going to get some work done on the schools or not,
Yeah.
Right.
One thing I did want to ask is if there's a way, a mechanism through the town to just get information out, like an email list, something like that.
We have, to our committees and such, we do have an email list, but that's the extent of that.
A townwide mail.
Is it something you'd be interested in? It's not clear in my mind because I post on Front Porch Forum periodically, but I put my own opinions in. And I don't think you want to be sending my opinions around to the communities.
Right, yeah. And
But,
front porch.
no, when you have facts, if you want to pass them on to Sasha, or things that you want to share out to the town, we'd certainly be happy to disseminate them the best that we can. But this has been good, and we certainly appreciate you coming in, and we can, periodically check back with you, and if there's changes or updates that you think we should talk about, we'll have you in at any time. But I've been following, and I appreciate the information that's been out there, and you guys have been posting, and actually the school board as well. After the last go-around in, was it 2020, whatever it was, there was certainly some trust issues going on, and I think it was kind of started that way here again. We were wondering, what was going on. So I think this is good. Communication is very important, and sometimes we don't like that as communication, but it's important to get it out there and get the facts there. So then the town or react to it in the proper way if need be. And I think there's lots of people in the community, lots of things going on. You'll hear. You should be fairly certain of which way the community's feeling.
Yeah.
People are pretty good with their opinions, and we will certainly be talking to a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The takeaway for now is things are slowing down for the moment.
That's great.
No decision is coming down the pipe.
And we're taking in more information, right?
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
Well,
That's the
you
thing.
always figure out, you think you're gonna quick fix the problem, and it ends up being a little bit more than you originally looked at.
and we got people on both sides,
Yeah.
people saying, please don't throw a bond at us that's around, just under or just over $100 million. And we've got some people saying, I don't care what you throw at us, but don't close the elementary school.
Yeah.
So
There's two
we
sides.
understand
Yeah.
and know both sides of that. So we're cognizant of that. But right now we're taking in information and we're taking in opinions, whatever those opinions are.
Well, I heard today a third of Vermonters are over 65, so that's only, education to that third of the people. While it may be a social issue that they're behind financially, it's like, that part of our lives is over,
But maybe when you see the next, you have some meetings coming up and you said it's slowing down, when the next time you feel it would be relevant or a good time to come in, maybe you could just reach out to the board or to Sasha and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna come in June, July, or August, or whatever, when you have another update.
Sure. Or if you're, if you're hearing something on the school board and you feel like, we as a town, we would like everybody to, just conduct a binary poll for the town and have that inform us. Wow, that's a powerful tool for us, especially if it's something that's just out to just Moretown residents and it's something like binary.
Right.
That gives us a lot of information so that we know how to best represent all of you.
Right,
Which is all we really want to do.
I think that may be something down the road again, because there's just not enough information at this point for any.
Bingo.
Yeah,
it's really hard to say.
To what you said earlier, I want you to keep this, but I don't want to pay for it, right?
We don't know how much it means to each person, so it's hard to put a thing out and say, well, if it only costs you, $1,000 a year in taxes, because that seems like a lot of money, but,
All right, gentlemen, we appreciate you coming.
Thanks so much for your time.
Good, thank
You
you.
know what, let me just, one more minute. We have a few people here not on the select board. Does anyone have any quick questions for the school board while they're right
Please.
here?
I didn't have any questions, but I appreciated that the process was slowed down. So I'm Erin Affronti. I live in Moretown. I'm a county being here, and I'm a here in the Valley. And as a member of the community here, and as a member of Easton school staff, it was really important that all the options for consideration, that whole facility evaluations were done before there was any narrowing down. And that was our main concern, and we felt the board heard us because we both sent full staff letters, and it was received nice feedback from the board, and appreciate that that was heard, and that was our main concern, that just full facility evaluations be done before those recommendations for consideration were narrowed down and investigated further, because it seemed like that made sense before taking those next steps.
We thought that was a smart idea.
So we appreciate that.
The letters, meeting with the Moretown teachers, the letter from Face, these are influential.
So thank you.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Are your facilities assessments you're doing, will that take into account the outdoor learning spaces, the outdoor parts of the schools, the campuses?
Good question.
Good, yeah, so on a lot of these campuses, we don't actually own the land, as it turns out. We own the footprint.
Yes.
But the individual towns are the ones who own the property, and so they're they have in a lot of cases, sort of an easement or an allotment for that. So It likely will not be, and this is me sort of flying off the top of my head, but it probably won't be included in that, only for the fact that we don't own it. The town does.
Yeah, but the opportunities for outdoor learning are very different at the different elementary schools.
Yes, no joke about that. And certainly when it comes to Moretown, that's one of the big draws. I know that we felt that way when my wife and I had our children going through Moretown, as the outdoor education aspect was really big. So it's definitely something that I think is an added voice, but probably isn't something that you can put to paper really.
But I mean, would the outdoor equipment and stuff, wouldn't that be, part of the bond or infrastructure if there's outdoor equipment and things like that?
I mean, you're getting to the level of detail we need to
Yeah,
get.
who knows, right, yeah.
I mean,
The playground equipment.
there's nothing in the
ball
school
fields.
budget for playground equipment, which
Yeah.
I'm relatively new, it strikes me as crazy.
Right, and I think to Corey's point, I think and maybe I'm off here, but when they're doing these assessments, not even so much, all right, we need to fix that, but it should be placed a value, what type of value
Right.
does the surrounding areas enhance the learning? Like, and I think we all can agree, Moretown's value, what we have, whether it's trails, whether it's
Echo class.
all of that stuff, the value there is very high. That's a 10, where if you go to, I don't want to pick on anyone, but let's say Facein, because you're the Facein school.
Facein also has wonderful,
Okay, let's pick out what it,
big on Waitsfield.
right, all right, let's wait, actually, yeah, they're easy to pick out. So they're maybe
They're
a
not
3.
in any of the out-
Right, they're next to the river and the swamp, all right, and they're wetlands. So, there may be a 3. So I think when you're, as you guys are board members, that's one of the things that you gotta say, all right, we need to assess the whole value here. And this, what's the outside value to our packages here? Because we're talking, significant enhancement to our learning.
Because like to your point, Ben, like, yeah, the district just owns the footprint, but then the district has like Moretown is an MOU with Moretown to use the town land. So it's kind of like a moot point whether it's owned or not, right? Because it's essentially an MOU in perpetuity.
Oh, for sure, yeah, they need to,
Yeah.
for use, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
yeah, I would say.
And again, this is all guesswork.
Yeah. I'm just, yeah.
From these things, I'll try to call these presentations and all of it. And actually, I think that they make it very clear that they are specifically looking at buildings and footprints and nothing else. They're not assigning community value or anything extracurricular. But they've said that, a number of times from stuff that I've seen. And so if there's a way to change what they're doing and to look at that stuff, because I think that when it comes down to deciding what actually happened, it's really important for us to know what happens to our community if the school closes. So we're worried about property taxes going up, or people are worried about property taxes going up. But if the school closes and we have, an immigration situation where people are leaving the community because they want to go to places that have, a local community school, that also has impacted on our taxes. And so from what I've seen, and hopefully that any of that's being looked at, and just as a citizen, I think that would be really important to if we're going to really look at this, look at the whole impact, not just of the buildings, but of the community value that's there. And so I don't know if there's a way to integrate that into the planning procedures, but I think that it would be really, really helpful to look at the community outdoor spaces and look at, what the value to the community actually is before making decisions to close. Because it's kind of like, tough to just like if you don't have that from package.
I think it's specifically not Trulex's job.
Right, exactly.
Community
Right.
value. That's the board's job based on input from everybody.
Right.
I do think we could evaluate the access to outdoor spaces though.
Oh,
That's there,
yes.
so,
Yes.
yeah.
They can't evaluate the value of the school to the
Right.
community.
Right,
And say this many acres is available versus this many acres versus this many acres.
Yeah, when something
Yeah.
comes in like that, sure.
And just to your point, there is information that is available that says, typically what happens, right, to a town that has an elementary school close. And so if you're just talking about numbers for your own sort of thinking processes, right? So our housing values have increased something crazy like 40, 50%, something like that. The typical impact to a community of a removal of an elementary school can affect a community everywhere between, say, 5 to 10%. Again, it doesn't, when you just have your housing value increase from, say, 40 to 50%, having it drop down 5, 10% might be meaningful to you. It may not be meaningful to you. It sort of depends on where you're at with your own personal economic issues, but also whether or not you have any intention on selling your home or want to stay here until the day you die. So it really, these are all really personal figures, and it's only meaningful to you as a homeowner in the way that it impacts you. Also, whether or not you personally have children that are going there, planning on going there, or have gone there, and you find that to be meaningful to you. So, so just for your own purposes, because I didn't want to just dismiss that question, but Truex Collins won't answer that.
No, certainly, no, I know explicitly a little more, I just wanted to see that, if you guys would look into that, that would be great.
Yeah.
And just one thing I think the people that it matters the most to is people coming deciding to move into our community. So people that are already here and have their properties value drop 10%, that's not as significant of a deal. But people coming in, is there going to be people will not want to move this community, instead they move to Waitsfield, or they move to, another town. So I think that's a big piece that, hopefully gets looked at of like, okay, so yes, property values drop 5%, but is there going to be less of a draw? Like, we want to build these communities up, that's the goal is to have a long-term sustainable population and not have a community that dies. And so that I think is a big piece. And it's not just the drop in the property values to the people that are already here.
You're right, and it's a really good, I like what you said about that. I also am cognizant about, and sorry, I've forgotten your name, Robin. When you said that you said a third of Vermonters are over the age of 65?
I heard that today.
Thank you for that statistic.
Yeah.
So if a third of Vermonters are over the age of 65, and we're in the middle of a housing crisis and everything is sort of locked up, I do understand, the sort of traditional, like, how do we make this community really attractive, but at the same time, in a locked up housing market, I mean, you can make your community about as attractive as you possibly can. If it's all locked up, it really won't matter if nobody's moving in or moving out. So in our particular case, that's not for me, that's not to advocate that we close down. That's also not for me to advocate that we pass a bond. It's just, it's information that we should all be taking in, so that when you guys advocate amongst each other, you'll let us know what you want with informed choices about what you're being presented with and what we're moving towards. That's all I really want to say in terms of this discussion. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we've been good.
And while a third of Vermonters are over 65, I learned recently that there is a huge number of high school seniors that have no exit plan when they leave school.
Yeah.
No job opportunities lined up, no college, no tech programs. So,
And no housing.
what are we doing with that? Because, I mean, you've got seniors graduating, probably close to half of them don't have a plan.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're
I have
not
two on the
going
way, and
anywhere.
I have one in college, and they all basically, none of them have plans to stay here because they can't. So I completely
Well,
understand.
it's not even staying here.
Yeah,
It's
they just don't know
they
what they're
don't
gonna
have
do.
any.
Right, there's a different
Plan for
population
it.
in the college crew. There's the other half.
No, I
We
understand.
need
I
to-
just
we need
have
to be-
one in college.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of that
They
to
don't
do
have
with the whole
anything left.
COVID experience they had too.
No.
No?
Yeah, actually has nothing to do with what she's talking about, which is absolutely, I totally hear you on. It's the opportunity, they're locked out of their own opportunities that other generations have enjoyed, so I completely understand that.
Well, being a senior, being a person who graduated from Harwood, going back into Harwood this year, I was pretty upset that the entire senior cafe had been demolished. When I went there, it was a working cafe, booths, tables. They had kitchen staff who would do not full lunch, but they would make certain things. It is now, there's like some junk tables in there. Half the cupboards are missing. The pop-up drawers to walk in behind the cafe are gone. Half the cupboards are missing the doors. There's no sink, there's a microwave and a Keurig.
I can't speak to that. Thank you very much for that. I could not speak to that.
That's part of the bond right there, Callie. All right, so to get on to even better news, let's listen to about FEMA.
Oh, God.
Here, coming right up.
That's good.
These guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering our questions.
Yeah, gentlemen, thank you. We appreciate your time. All right, Don's just, Ray, why don't you pull up, and then when Don gets back, you can let us know what you're at.
Let's do
We'll probably still be set. How you doing, Corey?
Do you want to wait till dawn?
You know what, well, before you answer, can you, that pipe that Deb was talking about?
Yeah, if you want me to look into getting a camera and
Yeah, can
having
you
a
do
road
that?
crew, I'm sure our road crew could
Why don't we do that?
do
Try to
that.
figure
If you
out.
want to do that, I'll look into that.
Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? We should probably do that, right? Like,
Yeah, I'd say that's a fairly inexpensive way to just kind of get an idea of where the thing might go.
Yeah.
you know, if it's going to the
If it goes
farm.
up 100 feet or, it's not that huge a distance, so.
Yeah, I don't understand where that pipe is coming from.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a lot of water.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems unlikely. I mean, the construction thing seems kind of
Oh, no, you're fine.
out of the question, but you just don't know the water tables, so.
All right, Ray, give us some
All right,
feedback.
so I haven't been here for quite a while, so I thought I'd better come in and just go over everything with you. You could start with going back to the 2023 flood, that's the 4720 flood. So a few things remaining on that is, if you look at the top there, that project, the last one, 736293, the mitigation work, it's 388,000. So this is work that FEMA is funding to improve what was there. And we haven't really done any of that work because the 2024 flood came before we could get it done. Most of that work is on Ward Brook. There is another culvert up, not a precast probably, but up near the end of Ward Brook where it meets Hog Hollow. We got funding for that. We got funding for some more stone. And there's other areas along the road that can definitely be improved through there. This mitigation money from that year, that's 90% funded. So I know we're under a little pressure there with our cash flow, but I really think we should try to get that mitigation work done because we're going to lose it if we don't this year.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make sure that the board is on board with that as far as...
And that's stuff that we bid out.
Some of it can be done with the road crew, but, talking with Martin, once we get into culverts over like 4-foot diameter, we're better off
To hire it.
subbing it out, so. But some of the ditch work, some of the stone work, we could do ourselves. But again, our road crew, they haven't done their regular maintenance
That's what I
now
was
for 2
gonna-
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're getting their hands full, just getting caught up on things that they put off the last 2 years, so.
If we're
We've had
getting-
pretty good luck with contractors in the pricing in the last year. We've been able to get some good pricing, I think, and
Well, yeah, I think the last time we had 6 or 7 contractors bid, or even more for that for the last project.
Yeah.
Just to your point, I was talking to Martin today, and we're trying to, or he's mapping out the summer, and we're asked him to. And now, comment specifically, we haven't done maintenance for a couple of years, and there's a few roads that need the ditching
Yeah.
and such. So if we can possibly do as much, and we're getting reimbursed for it through contractors, I think that's probably the best idea.
the other, so at the bottom of that sheet, or I guess midway down, we're still looking for a check. The precast work that we did last year on Moorbrook and the upcoming one on Jones Brook. All the paperwork, it's been through the environmental, it's been through everybody. It's literally sitting on somebody's desk somewhere to be signed.
That's the
That's a check
1.5 million.
for about
Is that the 1.5 or 1.7?
That'd be that right there, 1.5,
It's the 90%.
1.89.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we should-
176 under that,
Oh,
that would
that's-
make up that 1.7. That's what they hold back.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So everything is clear
It's
on
like
that, we're
90%
just
of
waiting.
90%.
Oh,
Callie probably knows what that's like, waiting for money, but
oh, I get it.
And then you get it and you're like,
But it says March 25, but we didn't get it?
Right, that's what
Okay.
we're talking about. That's what
Yeah.
we're-
Now we're down here.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
So this
Now expected in May.
this there and add it to that, you get that.
Okay, okay. And we're expecting that.
So
Any minute.
when I was told that because this project is over 1,030,000, it has to be reviewed by our state senator, our senators down in Washington.
Okay,
That'd be Leahy and Sanders.
okay.
Not Leahy, I'm sorry.
Peter and,
Welch.
Welch and Sanders. So,
So do you
I
think
don't know
we
if we
should
reach
reach
out
out to
to
them? Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, because
Reach
that
out
was
to
the
Peter
thing,
Welch
they
and
said
say,
if
look-
we needed to reach out to them, to reach out
yeah,
to
you can
them.
reach out to, I know Tom, I know he's reached out to you several times, so.
Yeah, I can
Maybe you can
reach out first thing
to
tomorrow
him and say,
morning.
look, we have this project, and what I've been told, it's ready to be paid.
Yeah.
It just needs to be signed off by somebody.
So would I refer to it as 736-288-2025 or what?
Just 736-288 is the project.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And so the last big issue is the Lover's Lane
Slope repair.
slope repair, right? So, and that's really complex because we had damage in 2 storms. So it's, we've talked about consolidating the money and trying to do an alternate bridge, which I think is a good idea. The problem is that process is going to be a process to try to get everybody together to, not in town, just the FEMA people
Yeah, FEMA, the state.
wrapped around it. So
Yeah,
I gave you a sheet with the pricing for different alternatives that the engineer came up with. I think the traditional slope repair price is pretty high. My question is to the board is, do we just fix the road, or do we go forward and go through pursue this bridge thing and wait this thing out? I mean, I couldn't begin to tell you how long it's gonna take to get it all resolved.
This is like the,
Either the bridge thing or any of this.
I think we went for, so if we went forward with the traditional, it would still remain 2 projects, the 2023 and 2000.
Right.
It'd still be 2
separate
funded.
events
But
technically.
if we go with the bridge, it's gonna be combined
Good,
into
yeah.
1 year,
One
probably the 2023 year.
Right.
And I don't know, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I can't. They don't seem to know. I thought we were further ahead on it than what we were. But in the last month, I've had 3 different FEMA representatives I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
So, and they're really pushing to get everything done, or at least the pricing part of it done.
Right.
These are like the prices for the Fletcher Road Bridge that we all looked at like a week ago.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like about the same span as, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
It's
gotta be
like-
close.
Yeah, it's like about the same span and on bedrock, so.
Yeah, they said, yeah.
So who is that? Did you have a contractor look at that? or-
No,
No, it
that's
was just
from
a
AOT,
state.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
that came and presented
Okay.
what their cost projections were, a couple options, and
Right here.
Oh, yeah? And what did they come up with the price?
Well, they can't, they
Oh,
had
yeah.
different options of,
Okay.
and then also a temporary bridge or a walking bridge and,
Yeah.
it's a whole, there is a whole, but one of the things they said in the meeting was, it's 5 years, maybe it'll get started,
Yeah.
because it's a state project and it's gonna
It's,
take
What'd you say, 5 years?
yeah, the Fletcher of that, but that's what it's proposed to do.
Right,
But
yeah.
it's nothing to do with the FEMA approach.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
This
right,
here-
I was just.
No, that's fine. What's a shame here is the bridge replacement is $700,000 less than the traditional slope repair.
Yeah.
But they preferred, and then I don't think it would last as long either. The traditional slope.
Absolutely.
It's not.
I'm really in favor of the bridge replacement. I think in the long term, that's gonna be the best solution because that whole road is bad.
Yeah.
But we could pursue it longer. I just don't know, the road as itself, we did some temporary work on it and it certainly was passable this year. How long that road's gonna last as it is without putting some money into it.
Right.
it's really narrow. I went through there on
It is.
Saturday and it's like, because the whole thing slumped and it slumped above it.
Yeah.
And it's like, basically, it seems like probably just the plow truck gets, like, just about gets through there and that's it.
Yeah, it is, I'm glad we got a guardrail there.
Right, yeah.
But, so,
If we did the bridge, what the landowners, I mean, the people would go over the bridge and turn left and then all the homes up there and there's one home to the right,
right,
or 2 homes to the right now. But the rest of that land coming in from Route 2, I mean, eventually the thing would be gone. You'd only get to just be on the flat part of that road, right? And then that would be,
I think you'd go down to the turnaround probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but the rest of, it's always gonna be town land, it'd be a
Trail or whatever.
trail of some sort.
Oh, no, I know, the road would be whoever abuts it that owns the land there. I mean, that would.
Yeah, we could look at a tax map. I feel like that's a bigger parcel, so it might not mess with their access at all.
Yeah.
And it's because it's so steep there too that.
Yeah, it's
They
pretty
couldn't
steep.
build it.
Yeah, it's not like they're gonna put an access road in
Can't
there
really put a
probably.
curb cut in there, no,
Right.
blasting your way through it.
So do you need an answer on that right now, Ray, or should we, I mean, I don't know, what's everyone, I mean, I like the
If you-
bridge, but.
If you, we could probably
if you're-
delay a couple weeks or something.
I mean, I guess the only reason to delay it is if you thought you could get more information from them to kind of steer us, because I don't want to get screwed out of all the money by trying to delay and get the bridge, you know?
Right, yeah. Like, what's this soil nail thing? That's like peat pipe, they'll slam down into the ground to
Yeah,
kind of
I
stabilize
think
it?
they're horizontal and.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen them, but they use them across country somewhere that they put these nails in that are drilled into some solid material and then, they backfill around them.
Backfill it, okay.
And keep on coming up. I'm not a soil mill person.
Yeah, I was just curious why that would,
So you
what would
have
be
to-
better? I mean, that seems like it's less money than the traditional slope, but I just don't know the long-term
Yeah.
impact of what that would be.
That'd be a big operation because, there's nobody in Vermont that'll do this.
Right,
Somebody
that's
bring
what
a
I'm
great
concerned about,
crane
yeah,
and
okay, yeah. So
even
that's why I was
even
curious,
access
like,
is gonna have to be tough.
so this is an out-of-state contractor would have to come in
Yeah.
and we'd be shutting down the road for an indeterminate amount of time. Okay. At least with the bridge, we can keep the road open as it is. I mean, that's one of the benefits of that one. But if it takes 5 years, then
Do any of these, 1, 2, and 3, would any of these alternatives include like a temporary bridge for people? Because the road will essentially be closed while they're rebuilding this.
We would have to, I believe these costs, these estimates have enough contingency in them that whatever way is chosen, people will have to have access
Right.
for.
Maybe a Bailey Bridge or something across there.
Yeah,
Well, if you go with the bridge, they've already got access.
yeah, that's true. You're absolutely
Well,
right.
that's what I'm saying is the
Oh,
only
no, no,
benefit,
but I'm
yeah.
saying if we went fixing the road,
Right. They'd have to
while
put
the
a
road's
bridge,
being fixed.
temporary
how
bridge
do they
anyway.
get to their homes, because it's
Yeah.
gonna take a lot to fix the road.
Ray, why don't you see if you can do a little more research on it and talk, whatever you can do between now and our next meeting, is that all right with everyone? To try to get a little more clarity on, is it really possible to do a bridge, or if it's, a long shot, then we'll decide on these
Right.
other 3, but.
And we might not even be thinking about this, but we might get serious homeowner pushback for the bridge idea. Because a lot of people in that area are super private about.
Well, my feeling is if they want access, we're gonna give them one or the other.
Yeah, and I'm not.
We may get pushback, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about that.
Yeah, I just don't want to,
I mean, yeah, but if we did the bridge, then the road would be gone, so it still wouldn't be like a throughway, like a
Still be-
through road, right? It'd still be a dead end.
Yeah, right.
Like Lover's Lane would cease to connect.
Oh, that's true. That's a very good point.
it'd still
So it
be a
would
dead
be a
end
dead
road.
end, and it would be
Yeah.
a bike trail, which is
Right.
kind of what we're envisioning anyway.
Right.
So yeah, that's probably a good,
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was a through.
That was my only thing is,
Oh, yeah,
if
I
it pushes
agree.
back the timeline longer. I just worried about the road itself collapsing and the amount of time that it takes to build the bridge, and when we do
It
that.
probably wouldn't take 5 years, because the Fletcher Road thing is a totally different.
Yeah, no, I do, yeah, I'm only putting that timeline on just because I know how the state works, and it seems like a big project to me.
And I don't know how flexible FEMA is
Right.
probably now at this point with a temporary bridge on any of the other options.
Right.
Just because, like, if you don't check a certain box in your beginning, it doesn't happen. That's why Payne Turnpike in Berlin is closed. Because at the time we were like, it's not gonna take that long, so no, we're not gonna need a temporary bridge. And then we're like, we need one, and they won't pay for it. Yeah, they won't pay for it. So,
All right, so I gotta be moving to the next. So, all right, so that's that. And the other sheet is just kind of an update on last year, the different projects that they came up with and where we stand on them. We haven't received any funding yet.
Right.
But I think we're really close to getting at least a check for old Route 100.
Okay.
And by the end of this month, I'll have everything submitted. I've been really working hard with the office staff here, getting all the, it's the payroll and all the invoices and everything. It's just a lot of work. But we're getting it done right, and hopefully, when you do it right, it goes through the first one, right? There is work, so the 3,217,000 number. So we have spent roughly $3 million. The work that remains to be done on most of those projects this year is resurfacing work. And so that's where we stand on that.
Okay.
That's and that has to be done. The other projects below that, the Mountain Road culvert, the Common Road culverts, Hill Road, and the second Rivers Lane, we could probably put those off till next year. The way things are going, we probably won't have the funding in place until next year anyways. But they at least have given us project numbers for those and have have approved them as being eligible for FEMA money. The last 3 projects, there are 2 on Mountain Road, the larger bridges, even though they're undersized and they weren't damaged enough during this flood work for them to replace them, but they are undersized and eventually they'll need to be replaced, but we're going to have to find a different fund for that. And there are other funds available.
Are you speaking about the box culverts just up the road from my house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one, Hout Road and I forget the other road. But,
So that's 3.9 million they rejected then?
yeah, Condon, that's it, yeah.
That's a new one though.
No, not Condon, but there's one down, there's one below, there's Hout and then there's one between Condon.
So those have all been rejected, right? That 3.9 million on those?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Jones Brook, Ward Brook culvert, even though that is, it's not undersized, but the brook is not going into the culvert correctly. It's like,
Yeah.
it's got a pinch point
That's
right
it,
before the
pinch,
entrance. So I'm hoping to meet with Jared Ford next Monday and get him to allow us to at least fix the culvert entrance here so we can utilize a full culvert because it's not right the way it is. So those 3 projects were not going to happen.
So do you think there's other mitigation money out there though that we can?
What we'll do is we're going to add like the Jones Brook culvert, when we get the final numbers for that up above, we're going to add in we'll figure out a mitigation.
Try to use the
and add
mitigation
that on there.
strategy. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess it's critical we get that 1.5 to be able to get out of the box with any of these, right? We're running out of money to loan.
As you all know, we have that loan that's going to be due in August, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have some money with it.
Yeah.
But FEMA's aware of it, and they will pay the interest, but nothing else.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. Thanks, Ray.
Again, we keep,
It's just been,
So we have no idea when this 3 million two is gonna come. The first.
no, the first check, maybe
Because
the
you're still waiting.
54,000 or 43,000, whatever it is, 90%.
Yeah.
I think that'll be soon.
Okay.
And maybe once they start flowing, they'll start flowing consistently
Yeah, yeah.
after that. These are all under $1 million, so they should go quick.
Yeah, right, faster than the bigger ones, hopefully, right. Okay, well,
And that flow
keep us posted, I guess.
That flow is
We're all,
separate from the one that
we're all like
expected.
white knuckling it.
Right.
Yeah.
Different flow.
But maybe if you reach out to Senator Welch.
yeah, I'll do that. I'll be on the road first thing morning. I can do that one driving.
All right. That's it for that. I did meet with Mary Murphy regarding the church parking lot sign in the park. And so what they're really looking for is like a temporary sign. Because on Sundays, I guess, or during the winters, they have pickleball there and they've been parking and the preacher can't park next to the church. So I didn't make any promises to her, but I told her I would go to the select board and see if I can talk to Martin, if he has anything in his shop that he can make a temporary sign out of, that they could put in place.
Yeah, we can probably get a sandwich board or something like that. Is that what they would like?
Well, that's what I told her. I said, there's a lot of options, a barricade, a sandwich board, or
Right.
something. We may have something, I don't know. But whatever it is, it's not gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll look into it. We may even could do, I mean, we've done, looks so nice out here. I hate to put up a crappy sign, right?
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out. Maybe we can just put one, the guys can put in that says no parking on Sunday except
Yeah.
for preacher or something like that.
But we do want it to, because it affects the plowing in the wintertime, we only want a temporary sign.
Okay.
We could also reach out to the pickleball folks, I think, don't you think? There's a whole group of them that are
Right.
right
sign
to
makers,
Sue
right?
and Neil Mostoff and stuff, and
Yeah.
just get the word out that,
Walk an extra 25 feet.
Well, they want to save that energy for the pickleball.
No, but you know, I mean, if we let the folks, you know, there's quite a,
And on their website, with the sign-off website, they could probably post that. I mean,
yeah, they have quite a group of regulars, so maybe we could just, you know, like appeal to their,
Is it the pickleballers though? I mean, I don't they usually drive all the way to the end of the.
No, during this winter when they're playing inside.
When they're plowing.
Is it the-
Right.
Is it the church's spot? Why can't that guy walk an extra 25 feet? Not to sound like sympathetic, but I mean, is he elderly or like, I mean, is it that big of a, I'm just asking.
I don't know. He comes in from out of town
Yeah,
to do his thing on Sunday.
yeah.
We'll try to repeat it.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at, their spaces, I mean, they're all close, I mean, how do you
I
not?
guess he's good VIP parking. But, you know, I think it's fair to, you know, the preacher should be able to park behind the church.
Behind the church. It's vacant.
Yeah, we'll find, if you look down there, we'll be gonna,
So these are the spots over by like the light post? Or no, it's like the right behind the church.
Right behind the church, yeah, that's why it's
Two
got,
spots
you know.
there.
Yeah.
so I have one quick question for you that maybe we, just to have on the radar for another discussion regarding the sidewalks, because I had a discussion with the postmaster, Mark, at the
Yep.
post office, expressing concerns about the sidewalks, not only the one that was done and the future new one, and the impact to mailboxes. So let's keep it on the radar. We can have a, you know, I don't know, are you working on that as well, or it's not really?
well, in all that whole design, there's some mailboxes, all the mailboxes have been addressed. And in fact, they had to speak with all the homeowners of the mailboxes because they had to move. There was a couple that had to be moved.
Right.
And the post office has been, it's been very frustrating working in the post
I
office.
could hear he's frustrated as well.
So it's finally into someone's, we just got a report last week, it's in someone's area now that's willing to address it and look at it. But
Oh, good.
all those
Because-
concerns are being addressed.
Okay.
Or they have been, and the engineers have been doing everything they can. to
Okay,
make-
good. No, because there's some safety issues as well, but we can move on for now. Okay.
Anything else, Rick?
I think I gave an update there that, so the Wardbrook culvert that we started last year, they're supposed to be up there the first week in May to finish up the guardrail and hopefully Karen will just do the stonework on the brook and get that all done. I did meet with Joanne and went over, you know, the area that we disturbed at their mother's house, and yeah, it's not an issue. And I'm still waiting for Jaren to, so they gave us a permit for the Jones Brook culvert, but they put the wrong number on it. They got the Ward Brook and Jones Brook culverts intermingled. The stream permits. So, and it's, nobody can seem to figure this out. The applications went in separately, and they're clearly defined, but when whoever processed the application got them twisted around, and it's got the Moretown location on both, the Ward Brook location for both culverts. So
Well, I'm hoping we caught it early, and
I'm hoping we get it all set, and then we'll be up to see you, Callie, so we do it, go over that stuff, and get an agreement with you, with
Yep.
the contractor.
Avery, get his stuff off there.
Yeah. So, but, I think it'll work out fine. He's really good about that stuff.
good.
Okay.
Before I leave, I'm here as a property manager, representative of a property owner on Lover's Lane. And go back to Lover's Lane.
Yeah.
Excuse me, who are you?
Oh, my name's Everett Horton.
Everett Horton? Okay, thanks, just for the record.
Yeah, Norton.
Or Norton, okay.
Resident of Waitsfield.
Yeah.
I spoke to the other property owners on Lover's Lane. The majority consensus is that, based off the last time I spoke with them, that they would the road maintenance or the road reconstruction done over the bridge. I'm not speaking for the whole road by any means, but especially the homeowners that I am here representing, that is their preferred course of action. I understand that there's a $700,000 savings with the bridge, and maybe that doesn't represent all pros of that option. But I would just hope the select board would consider property owners' input on that. I don't know how much sway we have in the decision, but based off my last conversation with property owners on Moretown, it seems to be the majority would prefer the existing road to be repaired rather than the new bridge.
Did they have specific reasons as to why?
Hence to my point.
Sure, I'm sure.
Yeah, access points, i.e. like coming in from Route 2 rather than 100. General use of their lifestyle, where they go during the day and exit points. I know it seems minimal, but as well as 911 address changes. I would imagine you'd have to change all the 911 addresses.
I don't think so.
The address would be the same.
Maybe, no, I wouldn't see, I wouldn't think so.
There's still going to be Lover's Lane, just the access is going to be coming from
The other.
wherever the road is there.
Right, but then say we threw up that section, or that we did maintain that section of road, would that like change the class of road? So then would that change the E911 address, because it's probably measured from Route 2?
Oh,
right? Like
right.
say they went to a class 4 section, that couple hundred yards, or to a legal trail, would that
Right.
change?
That
I mean,
would-
these are just questions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, yeah.
Which E911 location is going to respond? Does that change that? Does it now become Middlesex instead of Waterbury?
And then the road has
All that
to
shit.
It's already kind of a location based off of a fire department.
It's not about the Lover's Lane up to 100B, it's, Huddle.
Right, it just goes, you
What
just
land
connect.
are you representing?
Certainly.
Well,
Town roads turning on it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Okay.
You're still,
Or you could change it back to Lover's
Right,
Lane.
I
exactly.
guess the other big concern is what does happen to the road if you guys are putting the bridge? You know, is that going to turn into a recreating area? How does that affect, travel on the road for homeowners as well as recreators? What does it look like? It is steep and a lot of it's undevelopable along that river, but there is a buildable lot there. I think you referred to the turnaround that is kind of after the blind hump. Is that when you're talking about where
Right.
you maintain the road just so you turn around trucks? That lot does have some developable land for the landowner. So keeping that portion of the road open, kind of a concern there. If I think power comes in the other way, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to look at that. I mean, Donnie, we talked about before that, I think, because that's part of the Cross Vermont Trail. So I think we want to at least like somehow have some sort of path there that you could like walk or ride a bike on. I don't know like what we would do to, like if there'd be chicanes or something to like close the road. Otherwise, like any sort of barricade.
Yeah.
I would assume there'd be something, but I don't know.
So yeah, I don't know whether you guys are looping property owners on that, or if it's just up to the select board. I'm not sure how you guys.
Well, I think the first thing we're trying to figure out is what is for the long term, what's the best long-term solution? I'm not an engineer, I don't know. It would appear that the bridge would probably be the best long-term solution, just based on what's happening there.
the last 2 years.
But we need to.
Also condemned due to a flood.
Say again?
Is that bridge also not usable due to water damage in the past, or is it just the first?
No, it's just old.
Bridge maintenance.
Deterioration.
It's just old.
Yeah.
But we need to figure out financing, obviously, what's it gonna cost us? And then, once we have it clear, we've got some pretty good prices, the differences, but, how long is it gonna take? If that bridge option is not a definite option, then certainly nothing I wanna go towards. I want a definite solution as far as financially. So Ray comes back in 2 weeks and says, it's 50-50, then you got your answer right there. If he comes back and says, it's very possible that we can do the bridge and this is the time frame, then I think we need to loop in the people down there as well, and take some time, look at the information that we have, and try to make the best decision for everyone. The town, the people, the taxpayers down there. I don't think anywhere, it should be decided just sitting down, so I think I like this one better, or this and that. We need to weigh all the options that we have. There's a lot of things, $700,000, but there's other long-term that might be even out at that value, and then there are other things that may be detracting. We haven't heard from everyone, so I think we're willing to work with people and, listen. And then ultimately the board will make a decision, but we're certainly willing. I'm not saying no, or we are not saying no, one way or the other.
Information.
Yeah, it's a financial issue more than anything, really. If we have no way to pay for it, then it's a burden not only for the residents of that, it's a burden for the entire town.
The entire town,
So you get to say, well,
A safety issue.
yeah, and there's a lot of issues. I mean, it's,
Now that 2 axes having a headed road already kind of.
But I definitely appreciate your feedback, because I raised that point and I was like, what if you get pushback from the residents? And it sounds like that's immediately what we'd get if we said we wanted to go with the bridge option. So it's good to know up front,
I'm not saying all of them. Like I said, I'm not comfortable speaking for everybody on the road, but I did.
It's certainly a concern of mine. I know people up there are very proud.
Who are you representing, just so we have an idea who that was?
The addresses are 731 Lovers Lane and 739.
What's the owner, or what's the?
It's under a company named Moretown Selectboard.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Thank you, Amber.
And I haven't seen the civil engineering drawing or anything, but it appeared as though they have to bring quite a bit of that road up on the Lovers Lane side of the bridge, but I'm not a civil engineer. I see like the bridge just appears to be a lot of impact to me, but again, like I said, I'm not a civil engineer.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly take a look at all options.
Yeah, make sure you sign in and give your.
Yeah, I try to get on Zoom, but I just, believe here.
Thanks, appreciate that. I think the Zoom is up tonight, I don't turn it on until about 10.
I think I have your email.
Or Ed Norton, actually, you can see it here, Ed.
I really haven't a lot of information from FEMA, that's why I haven't really reached out to the landowners about the bridge or this, and that's what that's why I'm here tonight, to try to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But definitely I have all the landowners, concerned landowners, emails address, and we'll be reaching out one way or the other, I guess.
Yeah. There's not a lot of people out there, but a lot of them are they like the area,
Oh, yeah. Everybody has a backyard.
Yeah. Well, thank you, appreciate it. Ray, are you good?
Yeah. Are you guys talking about the Class 4 roads tonight?
Yep, right next. It's just.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Hey, Callie, you want to? It's not really a discussion on the Class 4 roads. It's just that we had 3 minor changes, right?
Yep, and everything we went through and tweaked, changed the language.
I noticed when you changed the language on the goals, we didn't really specifically talk about that, but this seems a lot clearer. Very happy with that change.
I've got 2 questions for the board.
Okay.
Page 1, definitions and classifications, Class 4 highways. Is the town or the select board or this committee creating their own definitions to follow, or are they following state statutes? Because the definition and clarifications are its own definition from the committee, not from any documentation on Vermont state statute. Same.
Where are they outlining, like, what
It's page 1, number 1, definition of classifications.
So Class 4 highway are all roads not being 1, 2, or 3?
It doesn't say that anywhere in statute. It doesn't say it in that terminology.
Do you have the statute with you, Travis, so we can?
Yes, we do. I do. It's say that.
Do you have it so we can read it?
Yes.
Like on a piece of paper or something?
No, I got it on my phone. But, and then the same goes for, is the town looking to maintain legal trails or, I mean, which the town possibly can. I'm not saying that you're not. But according to statute, this policy does not align with the statute's definitions at all. Maintenance, number 3, page 3, says the policy state, I'll let you get time to get there. It says this policy states that public expenditures on class 4A highways,
Class 4B
B and legal trails held to a
and
minimum.
highways and legal trails. Well, VSA subsection 310 clearly states, initial C, a town shall not be liable for construction, trying to find that statute right here. A town shall not be liable for construction, maintenance, repair, or safety of trails.
Well, it says we're not liable.
Yeah, where are we making ourselves liable in this?
We're not, we're
It
saying,
says,
we're saying
in this
our,
definition, maintenance, I'm just reading off this. It says, trails should be held to a minimum amount necessary that the public investment is, doesn't say that statute. I mean, unless this town wants to make their own, like supersede the statute, which you can.
Right, and limited to the amount budgeted and approved by the select board.
right.
So it's then you're saying it's up to the select board to say how much money we want to put into
Whether we
class
want to,
4
yeah.
roads and legal trails. So
Right.
I don't think we're holding ourselves liable.
No.
Well, I'm just saying, there's been many lawsuits on this. There's one currently going through right now that legislation.
Right, I think if it was the opposite, like I've dealt with one where a town was saying legal trails could only be used for recreational purposes, right? And so in that instance, it restricted the use
Right.
from the state statute, and this isn't restricting the use. So I don't think we're
I'm not
holding
talking about
ourselves-
restriction, I'm talking about maintenance.
This is allowing us to do maintenance if we want.
Right.
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 Right, but
What you said is
statute
we
says
should
don't.
know.
And the legal trail statute is in front of the legislature right now with
Yeah,
a bunch of changes.
B3.
So there's a
But it
lot
doesn't
going on
really
with that
talk
right now.
about this maintenance and legal trails issue. It talks about who's liable for that.
Right, exactly. We are not
And
liable.
town managers, other people other than the select board. It does not talk about this issue.
Okay.
I'm just trying, I still don't understand how we're liable if we're like saying we have the option.
It says to the necessity of the public good. And statute does not state to the necessity of public good on legal trails.
Right, but it says to the, are we still on page 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're on page 3.
It said the minimum amount necessary so that we public investment is preserved. So that
Yeah.
we've already done work on a trail, and if we don't.
That
do
is the
so-
definition of a class 4 road, not a legal trail.
Okay.
Right, but I think,
Well, I see your point, but I agree with the wording as it's stated.
but I feel like, I'm just
Two
saying,
different
Travis, I
things.
think the last like line and a half don't hold us liable. Because it's a
Well, it
budgeted.
may or may not hold you liable. I'm just talking, this is a very confusing subject for landowners when they buy a piece of property. And when they look this up and they look at your policy, which could read differently than statute because the select board has the overall right to do what they want. But I'm just asking for clarity, for the public good of understanding this, and this is what this new policy is about, is to make it easier for the general public to understand. And I'm saying, by the wording being differently in your policy, than it is in statute, makes it mighty confusing.
Well, I think if they're, again, if they're coming in, they're reading our policies, and they want to know what's going to be done on their land or on that trail, they could come to the meeting, they could get a town report and see what is approved for that budgeted road. Travis, or come in and see what is in there.
Well, I mean, I just don't want, what I'm trying to say is, you know, we have a lot of roads and stuff with the 2 floods we've had in consecutive years, and there has been some work done on these legal trails in Class 4 roads by town, using town taxpayers' money. That currently says that we don't do work on those, but, I mean, I understand some people need to get to their homes and stuff. But there was no, in the town plan, there was no documentation showing that there was any of that work done. So the expenditures on that is sort of unknown. So, moot point there, but.
I mean, if it was broke out that, you know, that we broke legal trails out in this maintenance sentence,
Yes.
to still say, for the public good, the town can consider doing maintenance on a legal trail and have the Class 4 and, you know, the other language in here about the Class 4A and Class 4B, would that
No,
make sense?
no, you said the same wording that
It would make it more
Well, it's just the same thing.
confusing.
Let's go on. What's the next?
Yeah,
There's something else.
Yeah, sorry for that.
That's all right. Don't be sorry. We addressed it.
Awesome. So,
Was there anything else, guys?
I'm trying to follow along
Yeah.
with you too. I'm taking over time. I appreciate your time.
Kelly, did you?
No, I think everything, we went in, clarified the language. The committee was satisfied with what we had changed at the meeting. So,
I do have one more thing, if I get a moment.
Yeah, Travis, what is it?
Keeps using the definition road in here, and there is no definition of road that's supposed to be like Class 4 highway anytime it says Class 4, not Class 4 road. There is no definition of a road.
I thought they
I thought that was
changed
what
all
we actually
those.
talked about that, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you tell me where you're seeing one? or-
Yep, that is on page 1, definitions and clarification. Class 4 highways are all other roads, not,
Well, so it should be all highways or something.
well, I mean, that whole definition is completely different than what the statute says. I mean, it doesn't read it that way, it doesn't read in that language.
You said you had it. What was it?
It's VSA subsection.
No, I know that, but you said you
Do I
had
want me to read it for you?
Yeah.
I'm not a very good reader, as you can tell. but,
Sorry. So,
Class 4 highways are all town highways that are not Class 1, 2, or 3 town highways, or
Wait, slow down,
unidentified
just-
corridors.
Slow down a second.
Yeah, I'm
I'm trying to write it down. Right,
I'm
look
sorry,
at
I gotta write that
it.
down.
Yeah, Class 4 highways are not all town highways. Yeah.
That are not Class 1, 2, or 3 town highways, or unidentified corridors. The select board shall determine which highways are Class 4 town highways.
okay.
And then underneath there, that's in subsection, section 4, underneath there, there's subsection 5. It says trails shall not be considered highways and the town shall not be responsible for any maintenance, including culverts and bridges.
Correct. Okay. Well, I agree with him on the definition, certainly. Highways are all town highways now falling under definition of Class 1, 2, and 3 town highways. That is certainly clear. I disagree. I understand his definition that's saying the town is not responsible for maintenance, but we as a select board are saying that we are willing to support maintenance based on our budgeted amount at our discretion to preserve our investment in the community.
Well, and with that said, the town doesn't even know where the majority of their legal trails are. So is that going to include the surveys for them? Because the last time they did this, they just settled one in 2022 that took over 13 years to settle because the town did not know where the legal trail was.
Well, then we probably wouldn't do maintenance on that one, right? I mean, if we don't.
Well, you can now because it took 13 years.
Right, but I'm saying before, if we didn't know where the right of way was, we probably wouldn't budget money to.
They don't know where a lot of the right of ways is.
Yeah, that's true, there's a lot of
Right.
There's over 14 miles, more legal trails than are class 4.
Right, but I don't think in here we're saying we're gonna do the surveys, right? Like, the survey doesn't fall under maintenance. That would fall under
Well,
right of way.
And the key word is liability. We are not liable to maintain anything. It's completely at our discretion.
Well,
We don't have
the
to do
reason why I bring this up
anything
because
I mean, we can literally change this policy to say the town will do nothing on class 4 roads.
Right, yeah.
Which is what my recommendation was in the first place.
yeah, I remember that.
Is that we do absolutely nothing, because there are other towns that, guess what, do absolutely nothing.
Right.
And it's clear cut.
Yeah.
This is where your roads are, these
Or where
roads,
they're not.
we'll do
Highways.
slight maintenance on, and that is it. There is nothing.
Yeah.
Because the state does not give us any money for this at all.
I don't know, it would be much easier and much less expensive.
That's a class 4A and B highway or road or whatever.
Oh, and I want to get rid of
All
A and
class
B too. It's all class 4. Yeah, Berlin does nothing on class 4.
Oh, there's another one where we got the word roads too.
Where you
I
say,
just wanted to say, in my experience, just dealing with the FEMA stuff, that our policy clearly said that class 4 roads would be restored to pre-storm event condition. And with that wording in our policy, we are able to get FEMA funding to repair the class 4 roads.
Oh,
There hasn't been any argument regarding that. We replace culverts and washouts. Herring Brook is one of them.
That's what I,
It's all because we had that in our policy prior to the event. So I think it's a good idea to keep that wording in whatever changes you do.
if I can, if we're looking at any changes, I think.
Right, yeah.
Let's change roads to town highways. Is everyone good with that?
yeah, and then you got that same statement on page 2.
Yeah, throughout the allotment, so we'll do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Travis, for bringing
Thanks,
that up.
Travis,
I
yeah.
appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right, so based on the changes that we're making, Callie, is there any other thing? Do you want to make a motion?
So we're just changing those roads.
Everywhere the
Town
word road
To town highways.
to highway to town highways.
Perfect.
Because there's a couple places, so.
Yeah, there's good places.
Yeah.
Can we still call it the road foreman, or does it now have to be the highway foreman? Since there's no such thing
That
as
is
a road
his,
foreman.
that is his title.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let
No,
that.
don't be funny.
And trust me, there's a difference between a foreman and a superintendent, and don't call a superintendent a
Then
foreman.
we're not changing road,
Yeah.
because I would just go through and say like, copy replace the road.
Cut and paste.
All kinds of weird things.
All right, Callie's making a motion.
All right, I will make a motion to accept the Moretown Class 4 Highway and Legal Trail policy with the minor changes of making sure all the, where it says roads are switched to highways,
Town highways.
Town
town
highways.
highways.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor? Vote aye. Any opposed? No? All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So Sasha, before you publish it, can you go kind of proof that for the road and highway things and send it out for everyone to take a quick seat on it? Please.
Just in case anybody's interested, the reason they're called highways is back in the 7th, 1800s. They were highways because they were built up
Oh, okay.
to avoid, to try to make them passable with all the mud and
Along the rivers?
grimes. So it was called a highway.
Maybe they should have been smarter back then.
Now we
Now
all
put all the
we
roads
only
along
think
the
of
rivers.
highways. Well, interstates are highways, but that's where it came from, highways. They built higher,
Gee, let's build
The
all.
librarian agree with this history fact?
But then we got our historical society.
That's right.
Let's build all our roads right next to a river.
All right, so let's move on. Thank you for coming tonight, Corey. I know you would ask later in the week, and I had the schedule, but I know you wanted to get in, so we put you towards the end.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm here ready.
What's that?
You're only an hour late.
Yeah.
That's okay, my house is full of men watching hockey right now, so
Better late
I'm
than
okay with it.
All right.
So I just wanted to come in and share a few updates around the town hall management and use and rental policy. First, I just want to share a couple of good news, exciting things. I just learned today.
Sure.
Is that right?
If you got one.
Yeah. Actually, well, you can have it right now.
Take it for now, Travis, so then you can do it.
There you go.
I just got notice today that we got a grant from the Association of Rural and Small Libraries, and that funding amount should cover the rest of the fees for our construction documentation. I did the math done. I think
Okay.
it's plenty.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's very exciting news.
Yeah.
And then just in general, we're seeing a lot of really great community use of the building when the library's open. So I just wanted to share with you that we have 2 tabletop role-playing gamer groups that come in on like Dungeons and Dragons. They come in on Mondays and Saturdays. We have a craft group that meets there on Fridays. There's a watercolor group that just started meeting on Thursdays, and some student tutoring on Tuesdays. So people are really taking advantage of the space when we're open. So that's exciting
really
to
nice,
see.
And we have the karate still at night.
The karate, they rent the space
Right.
because they're there when
Sure,
they're not
yeah,
open.
but still the building's
yes, yeah, they're
used.
totally there every week. So I guess mostly I'm here to have you think about sort of the goal of the town hall rentals. Are we trying to make money from it? Are we trying to break even from it? Are we trying to subsidize the space for community use? If you turn to page 2 in what I handed to you, we can get it together. You'll see the rental fees here, and I did a little digging, and I'm not sure when they were set, but they haven't been changed since at least 2014. And basically, it takes about 8 to 10 staff hours to manage a single rental, like a party or a private event.
Okay.
And that includes cleaning and email correspondence. I didn't even include the time it takes for Sherilyn or Sasha to communicate or deal with the payment and the contracts. And that's about 4 times the income you would make from a 4-hour rental with a resident renting the space for 4 hours. So we're essentially losing money at this point, subsidizing, which I think if that's the decision, I think that's great because it is a community building. And then for the ongoing rental, the martial arts, it's much more in line. It's about an hour and a half a month of staff time. That's including the cleanings and the emails, which is definitely covered by that $50. So that model makes sense, I think. And the other thing to bring up, just on this schedule here, in terms of the fees, we have this cleaning fee listed because we had discussed at one point that it would make sense that the renters were responsible for what it took to clean up. But it's a separate fee hanging out here, and I don't think most people pay it. Usually we ask for 2 checks, the rental fee and the security deposit. So as you're determining the rates, like maybe that cleaning fee should get put
Into the deposit.
instead of being something totally separate.
Okay.
So that's one thing I wanted to bring to you guys for consideration. And this isn't an urgent, you don't have to decide tonight, but to think about it in terms of what to do about that.
So let me,
But the security deposit, if you add the cleaning fee into it, then they're automatically paying the cleaning fee.
No,
But the
they get
security
that back.
deposit doesn't get
Oh, they
used
get it all
unless
back.
there's
Okay,
some damage.
Okay, so
to
then
the
if they
space.
didn't keep it clean, it would simply come out of their deposit. You didn't keep it.
Well, I think there's just some level of cleaning that has to happen,
Right,
whether or
yeah.
not they are clean
Right, so just put
renters.
like
Yeah, we bake part of it into like the rental
Yeah,
fee.
so, yeah, so A, if they didn't clean it, we'd get the cleaning fee back, and then B, if they were to damage something, then we'd get
Right.
security deposit.
Right.
Okay, I think that makes.
So, let me just interject here.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fees, how it came about is, it's really a supply and demand, and there was absolutely no demand for
Yeah.
this building, or this
Right,
for
yeah.
usage at all.
Uh-huh.
So at the time, we were looking to break even at best, but really, and at that time, I think we were, you know.
Probably, right.
You know, what was going on, and I don't think the library was in there at that point, so that you didn't have the turnaround. So I think the general concept would be to continue to use, and we can think about this because we don't need to make decisions tonight, but as we're thinking about what we want to do, I think it's important that we don't price people out of using this building.
I agree.
I think it's a very nice building, but it's not the Taj Mahal either, you know. So we got to be cognizant of that. We want to keep it used so that when we want to do renovations or such, we can say, look, we're using the building, it's being used, and just an old building needs to be used to keep going. So let's consider that when we're thinking of these fees. I do think adding the cleaning fee, just adding it to the event fee itself. But Corey, maybe, do you have, if you come back, and I haven't read your whole proposal yet, but just recommendations, all right? I know it's taken 8 hours here at 20 bucks an hour.
Yeah,
I can't
roughly
remember, you know,
20.
whatever it happens to be. What's the break-even point? Where are we losing where? And then maybe we
And another
dance around
approach
that.
could be to raise the non-residential rates more than the residential rates,
I
right?
think that's probably a good.
Yeah.
good
Right, yeah,
So I could definitely work on that.
That way we-
To like a break even is what
right,
you're
yeah.
thinking,
That way we're subsidizing residents to use the building and get the community involved, and then, but we're not necessarily subsidizing.
You know, a building from 1835 does have maintenance needs too, year over year, so I think,
Yeah, I've been in, you can.
I just wanted to bring it to your
Right,
attention.
and people are willing to pay a fair price too. You know, they want to use something, so I
Okay,
can.
great. The other thing I just wanted to bring up is the sort of the rental request process and the timeline. And in 2024, up until now, we've had about 15 inquiries on renting the space, and so far it's been rented 4 times in 2024 up until now. We have a little online form that people can fill out, and in that form we kind of say, can you give us 2 weeks notice before your event? But I'm just wondering if we might be able to put it into the use policy. And I sort of wasted some paper here, but in the green you can see what I'm suggesting, which is just that if you're planning your kid's 5-year-old birthday party, you know, you need to give us at least 2 weeks. If a beloved family member has passed away and you would like to host a memorial service, you know, of course we'll do our best and really try to accommodate that. But I just think it would be useful on our end to be able to ask that people give us a couple weeks, because we have to recruit the volunteers to break the library down and set it back up.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
So when I come back with the fee, like
Yeah.
come back with this revised.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then the last thing is sort of a side note, which is right now we offer table and chair rentals. I didn't know if you are all aware of that or not, so people can rent the tables and chairs
Okay.
from the town hall, but if any of you have ever stacked those chairs or moved those chairs or used those chairs, you'll know how heavy and awkward they are, and it's sort of presented a couple problems, having them leave the building and come back.
Oh, you're
And
saying,
some will come back,
you're
yeah.
saying we rent the chairs off site?
Yes, people can pick them up and take them somewhere and bring them
okay.
back. But they're just, it's not like something you can throw in the back of your truck.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah, they're not
know.
folding chairs.
No, they're not
they're
folding,
those
they
big
stack.
stackable chairs. And
So you're suggesting that we do not
I was
rent them
suggesting that
anymore?
we stop renting the
Stop
chairs
renting the chairs.
outside of the building.
Yeah.
Obviously, when people rent the space, they can use them however they want.
Right.
We also rent the tables. I mean, those are light portable 8-footers, but again,
Yeah.
I don't,
And some will
it's
come
not
back
even
in.
that often that anyone
Right.
Is
reaches
that,
out
where
to
is
do
that
it.
policy anyways?
Well, I have just the form.
Okay.
There's no
No, that's
policy.
right, I'll leave it there. I didn't know where are people getting the information to come and.
I think it's on the website
All
somewhere.
right, so let's find that and let's just take that on.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure you were in agreement that, and obviously if town departments, like for Warfest, we often
Yeah,
bring
of
tables
course,
over,
yeah.
but.
I think
Yeah.
it was coming back to me, Katrina, when Katrina was working here.
Yeah.
I remember it was something, and we were, again, at that point, we were trying to get that
You
place
get
viable and
uses,
get a
right,
little bit of
yeah,
money.
yeah. Like, hey,
So it
let's
was
rent
like,
the
hey, let's
chairs.
rent it.
Yeah.
So it may be on the town website, it may be somewhere that's out there.
All
So
right,
Okay.
we'll find it.
Okay.
And if some of them come back actually damaged, so,
Yeah, no,
so difficult.
Well, there's so many other options where they can do the exact same thing. There's places that rent chairs and
That's their
all this
business.
stuff, and that's their
Yeah, it's
business.
really
and
not
let them deal with
convenient
it. Let them deal with it, not
Okay.
not us.
That's
you know.
all great to hear from you. And so, yeah, so that's really it. So I'll spend some time thinking about the fees and come
I got
back
a
with
few
the
questions
draft.
for you.
Yeah, sure.
Wait a second, Travis, wait a second.
Yeah.
You can't just, this is a board meeting, okay?
Well, I'm a public member.
Wait a second, listen.
I know, I'm sitting back here.
I have not said you can't talk, okay?
Yeah, I understand. And I understand.
But Corey's finishing up her conversation here at the board, and before anyone can say anything, I want to have a couple questions.
Well-
I've never, listen to me, please.
Before she's done.
Right. I've never, I mean, tell me, have I ever said, no, Travis, you can't talk?
Yes.
Well, after you've probably talked too much. But if you just let me know, or wave your hand, or just let me know, I'm happy to let you talk. You just got to remember this decorum, and we need to be polite to everybody.
And also, we will be getting those construction documentation and estimate sometime in the next couple of weeks, and then we're gonna have a final meeting with Naylor and Green in June.
And the
So
architect,
we could bundle it all together into one big conversation, or I can just come back sometime in June probably.
Yeah, whatever conversations probably. good.
Yeah, okay, great.
Did anyone in the public, Travis, for instance, do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions for Courtney?
I've rented for family event, rented the space out before, and you haven't said anything about insurance. And that was one of the harder things to be able to rent that space out, having liability.
still is.
Well, it sort of, because there is this online event insurance that you can get, and it's $75, and it's actually really easy. Once you fill it out and you pay your money, it automatically emails to the town office. So I think that maybe used to be true, but
Yeah, this was a few years.
Yeah, it was.
It's not.
That's why I was wondering, you didn't say that anywhere in any of your.
Okay.
But it is it isn't, I don't think it's this town, I think it's the Vermont League of Cities and Towns that require so much.
Right.
But that's good, that we can post that on the website as well. This is
It's
available and
definitely-
it certainly would,
It's what we send out with
So I
every
believe it was
inquiry.
like $300 or $400
No,
a day
it's
for myself.
75.
Yeah, maybe for that.
For
now,
that
it's nice
particular
that they
one.
have more.
But yeah, back in the day it was,
Okay.
yeah. Especially if you have alcohol.
All right, thank you, Travis.
thank you.
All right, so let's, if there's nothing else, Corey,
No.
thank you very much. Thank you for your hard work over there and running
Thank you,
things.
Corey.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
Thanks
it's
for
been
waiting.
great to see the building used.
Are you just gonna make these changes and send them to us, or are you
She's
coming
gonna
back? or-
Come
I'll
back.
come back,
For the
because
whole kit and
probably
caboodle?
want to talk
Yeah.
over the fees a little bit.
See you then. See you then. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Sasha, why don't we go ahead and see what you have to report for us, or things that we need to be addressing today.
I've got 3 warrants, 17 liquor licenses for Farmhouse Flowers. I've got the
Just a-
LMP. What?
I was going to say on the, do we have
Thank
the
you, Corey.
DRB, you know, what they're,
I think it's like 20 for them,
okay.
I think.
Can we, we'll sign up on these, but can we just check to make sure?
Yeah, someone's got it in the file and she's been.
Right, as long as someone's keeping track of it, I guess that's my question.
Is that the liquor licensing?
Yes.
I mean, they have a limit of 20 or
Exactly.
something, and they just,
Like up on the hill, they have, I think it's
Yeah.
20 for, I don't know, but
Okay.
I know Sherilyn has been in the past, keeping track of it.
I've got the local emergency management plan to be signed off on.
yeah.
The CV fiber, I need to to have you guys reappoint Chuck Burt and Sybil,
Schlesinger.
thank you, for their request for CV fiber.
All right, so let's go ahead and do that now. I'd move to appoint both Sybil and Chuck to the CB5 committee.
Second?
Any questions? All in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
No, aye.
You were asking about the junkyard
Yes.
last time. It'll be coming up in July. They were done in 2023 for 2 years.
That was the permit that we signed off on a couple of years ago in the junkyard.
Yeah, their fence.
I was
and all
just,
that.
yeah, because I was inquiring as such to look into it, because the fence is looking pretty crappy now.
It's starting to look crappy again, yeah, and the whole,
And,
like to Don's point, they definitely could do something with the entryway just to make it not look so.
Well, they'll be coming back in,
Yeah.
and at that point we can have some.
Yeah, they said they were gonna do a whole major, they were working on a big cleanup, but
Yeah, so that's why we have, it used to be a 5-year, and that's why we put it.
That's why we did it for 2 years, to see where they were going with it.
Right, so.
A lot of people make promises.
I need to have an amended motion for Pam Barnes for the library trustee. Her position would be for 1 year. And then Dan Zucker would like to be appointed to the other position, which was actually for 3 years.
Right, so we had made a mistake with,
I didn't realize that there was 2 open, and there was some confusion with the trustees on that, so I clarified, and Pam does want just the 1-year one, and then Dan Zucker wants to be a trustee, and he kind of fell into the 3-year.
okay. All right, so I would move to clarify our appointment report to Pam Barnes to the library trustee, 1 year, and Dan Zucker for the 3-year term.
Second.
Thanks, Kelly. Any discussion on that? Sasha, we got that right?
Yes. thank you.
All right, all in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
All right, I just wanted to clarify on the shades for the rest, or the blinds for the rest of the
I know you
office.
sent some emails about that.
That's okay, I just feel so guilty because they're so expensive. It just didn't feel right without getting your confirmation.
Right, so what did we have in the budget? Did we put more money in the budget for this,
It's
right?
like $30 more, yes, we've got plenty in the budget for it, it's just like $30 more each window, and it's just a lot of money in my eyes. But they're all gonna match, it's the same company.
No worries.
Right, well, it's not gonna get any cheaper, in fact.
I know.
So
We're not
had already
complaining,
decided
Sasha,
that,
so yeah.
We appreciate your thoughts on that.
Okay.
Continue with what we agreed on.
We agree. We don't want the sun in our eyes. You don't need it hotter in here, do you?
2 quotes were gotten on the post hole digger for the speed limit signs.
Okay.
If you guys want me to email them to you so you can look at them.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that so we can.
And that's all I have.
Sure, that's sweet. All right, Robin, you were gone last time. I think you had a good trip.
I was gone,
right?
yes, very nice trip, certainly well-deserved and well-needed.
Good.
Long
Anything for us tonight?
No, I don't have anything tonight. I spent the whole time just getting caught up on awareness.
That's good. Kelly, what you got for us anything?
Not much, just working on coordinating for that ATV committee, and then once we get that figured out, we'll create an agenda and send it over,
All right.
get that going.
Mike, anything?
I don't have anything.
Want to share real quick on our bridge meet, maybe anything that we,
yeah, I had that.
Oh, Don's gonna- all right.
No, it's fine, I had
Wait,
that
what
on
was
my
that?
list
What'd you say,
too.
Tom?
Bridge.
the bridge that we met?
Yeah, is there anything
Yeah.
we need to do right now at this moment, you think?
No, but just let you two know, we met up there on Fletcher Bridge.
Yeah.
With the state, and it was a
On the
great
9th, right?
presentation, actually. She did a really nice job.
You guys can look at it.
3 different, or I think there were 3 or 4 different scenarios. And this is the bridge that they're looking to replace. This is in 5 years from now.
Right.
So what we were going to do, we had 2 of the homeowners in, and 2 of the homeowners were at the bridge meeting as well. There was a 3rd landowner. but sometime this summer, she would like to come back to do a board presentation. So if you could coordinate that, Sasha, and then find out who the third homeowner is, or the landowner behind, I don't know who.
It'd be behind like, I could
Pierce.
figure it out and let you know, Sasha. I think it's behind like Mary Davis's house or
Okay.
Mary Fletcher Davis or.
Yeah,
And also, when you do reach out to, and does anyone remember what her name was? I don't.
yeah, we don't have her name.
The landowner's name?
No,
No,
the lady from the
lady
state. But she sent us an email.
Is it
Yeah, Laura.
Laura Stone?
Thank her very much for coming out. She did a wonderful job, and I meant to actually do that myself or figure out what her email was, but I know what she was sent through. But thank her and let her know that maybe sometime in June, but we'll coordinate with that other landowner to get them involved.
Okay.
And this will just give us an opportunity to look at long-term planning and costs and such like this. So it's actually been a good meeting. But anyways, thanks, Mike. Don, what you got?
Well, just a quick update that the shared use path is, it's moving along. There was a public meeting a couple of weeks ago. There was an article in the Valley Reporter. I can email through Sasha a little update that's been sent out. But basically at the public meeting, there's still lots of work to be done. But most of the input, there was 3 alternatives presented. One, pretty much keep it the way it is, with just better markings. Another one was to make bigger lanes, for running and walking and biking. And the third alternative is a separate path with a path, multi-directional, and a 5-foot buffer, and then the road.
Okay.
That seems to be the selected alternative from, at least 100 or so people that attended the presentation. There was voting, you could vote on it. So anyways, there's lots of work still to be done and areas to be figured out for sure.
And at this point, though, it terminates at 100B and 100 at the intersection, right? So it doesn't.
No, it's terminating, it's going to run from Warren Village, not exactly right from the village, to the end of 100B, with a spur going to Howard.
Okay. So when I read the article, for some reason I thought it,
No,
I guess I didn't finish reading the article.
no, it's going to go all the
I'm going
way.
to terminate it there.
So, I'll keep you posted on that. The other item is just some thoughts on, I sent an email to you all about the, building and grounds.
Yeah.
Or something, committee. So it'd be good to sort of try to keep this moving along. So I just, when I was at the Historical Society meeting, Stephanie Venom was there, and she was telling me about how, and I guess this is back when I was on the board with her, and she thinks that maybe Cheryl Brown might remember about it, was that, who did she say, Dawn? I don't think it was Dawn LaRocca, maybe? Spearheaded a study about I don't know if it was not like a finance committee, he was spearheading a whole thing of a maintenance. And he put this whole document together that she was remembering, but so maybe that's out there, and I'll see if I can follow that up. Yeah, they might know about it, but in any event, I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at the email about what the board would do and how it would be consist of, but
I think you did a great job on this.
I
Straight
just went over today.
yeah, so I don't know if we want to have that be the, what it is, or if we want to add anything to it, or change the wording, or, then again, what the name should be. But I think it would be helpful to get get it rolling and have it be something that's in place for, I'll check this other thing that Stephanie was mentioning to see that we don't have two documents that overlap or something, but.
Yeah, no, I think the only thing in, going down, and I like your names, I think I would, either the building maintenance or the building facilities, let's leave the grounds to the rec committee.
Okay.
And keep this,
Building facilities.
Yeah.
might be
I think
nice,
that-
yeah. But I mean, the bullets of what the
Yeah, no, I think
committee would
everything
do
you
is
hit on.
fine.
It
Yeah,
all makes sense.
Okay, well, what do you figure the next step is to,
So what are you saying, building facilities committee, or should it be building facilities maintenance committee, or is that too much? I guess, no, the single building facilities covers both.
yeah. that would
Yeah.
be- So Don, I think the next thing is we just need, as a board, someone will make a motion to accept this committee. And then we will decide on who that board member is. It sounds like you've decided, or you haven't decided, we decided earlier that that's something that you're doing.
I'll start off
You
with it,
start
but
off,
then
right.
again, someday I won't be on the board and there'll have to be someone else appointed to it.
There'll be something
you know?
else appointed to
That'll
it.
happen.
I mean, to keep it going, and then
Yeah.
those people, hopefully people will stay on the committee and pass it on to the next.
Right.
Well, I think that's the key, is to get some 3 to 4 strong committee members with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, to help,
You can kind of hand off the work to, I mean.
yeah.
Okay.
I hope so, that would be the point of it, for sure.
Okay, well, I make a motion to accept the Building Facilities Committee plan as written by Donnie.
Second.
All right, any other discussion on the plan?
Should we say that, should we have a motion that says that the board is creating the building facilities committee, and, because it's a new committee we're actually creating? Or is
Yeah,
that
no, I think
necessary?
the motion is good because
Okay.
this document is stating.
defining it.
Defining
Okay.
it.
All right.
Good question.
That was my only
Good question. Yep. All in favor, vote aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, Don, so yeah, and so if you want to put that out, and you said you had a few people that you thought might be
Yeah, I
interested.
got a couple of people I want to reach out to, so.
And then put it out publicly to see who's out there.
Yeah.
And then make sure
We'll
you're
get
following
going.
all
Open meeting
all
laws,
open
yeah.
meeting laws,
Meeting notes and
committees,
everything.
all
Sounds
that
like
stuff.
Deb Carroll knows how to use a shovel and a wheelbarrow, so
Yeah.
I would put her first on the list.
I know, maybe I can get her to be on.
She can come over to my house.
Bad for Deb and her water issue. All right, anything else? What else is done?
No, I think we're good for now.
Great, thank you.
Let me just see if there's anything we have.
So much paper.
So, a couple updates from the road garage or maintenance facility. The loader, the turbo blew on the motor, or the thing, so replacing that's probably $5,000 or $6,000. Just kind of an update on that. Martin's, looking to find out what type of lease-to-own programs are out there. So I told him to go ahead and take a look, and he could present some stuff when he has an idea of what's there. But at this point, we put, close to 20 grand into the thing, and so.
Probably sounds like we can expect more coming.
Yeah, who
back.
knows? But just wanted to give you guys an update on that.
Okay.
Martin should get back to work full-time, he's thinking after the 29th. Today he went in, he did a couple hours. There's some administrative things that he's got to do, so he's doing those. So I said that would be fine. He's just on vacation, so it wasn't like he's coming off short-term disability, which would be a different threshold of how you can come back.
Yeah. So you said April 29th is coming?
Yeah, that's when he's seeing his doctor again. and so he's hoping to get, but he's doing very well. He's progressed quicker and better than he thought he would, so pleased there. So he's working on putting a summer maintenance program together, or kind of what they've done, but just trying to figure what's going on there. The other thing he wanted to tell me or share with me, that the town of Duxbury reached out to them and they wanted to know if we would be interested in going in halves on a mower for the sides, highway roadside.
Roadside mower.
Which we both agreed would be really good to have, and it's something we need to look into, but at this point, based on the uncertainty of everything that's going on, even the uncertainty of possibly needing a new loader in the short term, that this is not in the best.
Well, and they do they even have the capacity to do it? Because Eric House did it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right, but then it's like, so then would the road crew have the capacity to do that instead of maintenance, or instead of like just subbing it?
Yeah, so so what they usually do is someone does it, and then Martin, to your point, Eric is the guy that we hired.
Right, yeah, Eric was the guy.
So he's, but Martin's figuring that out. He's doing that. And right now we have a budget of $7,000 in that to do the roadside maintenance. So I've asked him to, meet with our long-term, the finance committee too. That, all right, this is what we're spending, on an annual basis on this. What would be the payback? What would we have to do to make it justifiable to buy something?
So does that include the tractor with the mower on it? Because obviously you need a tractor.
Yeah, no, this thing was $140,000 that they're talking about.
Okay, so it's a tractor and a mower, and it's all put together and you go and mow it. It's not like an add-on that you have
it's not
a grader or
I think there are some that go on the front of loaders though.
Yeah.
Like you unpin the bucket and put a whole rig on that.
And do it that way, but then you
I have no idea what that costs.
putting a lot more hours on your loader.
Right.
Yeah.
Sasha, could you also look into, remember last year, it was Austin Hoover gave us some ideas on the roadside mower. If you could just reach out to that guy and just see what's going on with him.
And so the other thing with purchasing it with Duxbury is everyone's going to want to use it at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's
If it's going to be a sunny day, they're going to want to use it on theirs. We're going to want to use it on our roadside.
Now we talked about that, and there are certain pieces of equipment. I think it works probably well with other road foremen, like like a hydro seeder or something like that. I think is a good you use it periodically. You can kind of schedule when you're needing that.
Right.
Roadside mower, like on any day. Of course, it's raining. Hey, jump in that so I can stay on the rain and then mow or do it. So and it's there's so many moving pieces on one of those things. Yeah, I think when you invest in one of those, you kind of take care of it yourself and keep it to yourself. And I think that's another thing. That's pretty much what we have going. We heard from Ray. We'll make some more decisions there as we get on the bridge and when we get money. I know it's funny. We did have Ron Shems reached out to me, our town attorney, and an attorney from New York City that actually reached out to Ron to see if their client was interested in if we were going to do a bridge, to do a covered bridge, where we were doing a bridge, and they would, be interested in, maybe paying or so. And I think it's the same group that doesn't want the bridge, but if there was going to be that, they did reach out to, so.
I think we should just do covered bridge.
There's a couple very high-end people on Lover's Lane.
Oh, you're talking the Lover's Lane bridge.
Right.
They don't want a bridge, they want a covered bridge.
Well, again, that was
help fund it.
Right.
Well, I'm glad he brought up my point, because I was like, boy, you're gonna get a lot.
No, I think that's a valid point, but again, my point, I'm not, if we decide to put in, the bridge or the road, people need to be happy that they have
Access to their beautiful man.
Safe.
Safe
access.
Yeah,
That's the bottom line.
Safe access.
Safe.
safe, cost-effective access.
Safe long-term.
Because again, it's not just those people, it's all of the residents of the town of Moretown that are paying for this. They're the beneficiaries of this, but it's the people of the town of Moretown that are actually paying for it. We have to remain cognizant of that fact.
It's a gnarly little bank right there.
Yeah. So,
So we could just put a bridge in and
Yeah.
then put no trespassing to them, that would probably be what they are, right? All right, so, Sash, what do we have to sign?
Minutes.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the Moretown Selectboard meeting minutes from April 7th, 2025 at 6 PM.
Well, I'll let you do it, Kelly, because I
Second.
wasn't there, so.
Is there any discussion? None.
All in favor? Vote aye.
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 So what happened to Martin, anyway?
Oh, we just had a new place for,
Oh, okay.
kicking too much butt down there, right?
Yes, so.
Gotta do something there.
Clean down the shovel rock, right? Oh, don't say I said that. I don't want to be the one accusing Martin of anybody of being that.
I was gonna do that. No, I'm asking.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I get to do that myself.
Yeah.
Where am I supposed to sign these licenses here? Oh, we used to have a place.
She made
Oh,
all
is
of
this?
them. She put them all on one page for you.
She is just,
Yep.
she's right on top of stuff. She's as sharp as a bull in ball.
Here's Kelly.
Oh, did you have, you're not having any?
I know. Just looking at all the parties we're not invited to.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Tom, if you're good.
Yep, go ahead.
The local hazardous management plan, is that the plan that's being signed tonight, or is it?
That's designating certain people for jobs.
Yeah,
Jobs,
understood.
yeah.
Understood. Yeah, thank you, I wasn't sure. if it was that.
Yeah, no, it's not the management plan itself,
Yeah.
no.
Maybe sign that. Sorry.
It's Stefan and Mike, basically.
I know.
Yeah, that's signed. Those are the, if anyone wants to look at those
These are liquor
liquor licenses, permits, I don't care about
Has
those.
anyone been to an event there?
At the fire, at the flower place?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
It's really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I went there last weekend. Fish and Wildlife put on like a free turkey hunting thing for women.
wow.
So we were there.
And they serve booze, wow, I would be in there.
Yeah, I went in
Saved
there.
that weekend.
I bought some flowers there once and went in, it is very nice.
They didn't have that
The
one.
barn was
Treasures,
horrible
marriages.
because it was cold and then it's open.
Return.
So,
Don't say that, they're trying to advertise the place.
Something about
well, no, but it's beautiful. I mean,
No,
if
that's a
it
beautiful-
hadn't been,
Yeah, no.
40 degrees and windy,
No, my son was looking at that building when it was up for sale.
the people who were,
Glad he didn't buy it because it wasn't a good fit for him, but that's beautiful property.
they're looking for,
Right, yeah, I saw that.
there were people there, so we ran over by like at least an hour.
I gotta-
We were up shooting
that
up on the
one.
hill.
I think I did that one, yeah. This one.
And I think
That's
they,
Mike, Don, I think this one's still waiting on you.
I don't think
This
they were
one's
probably too
waiting on
impressed with us
me.
shooting up there. While they're there, we walked in to get our
Oh,
stuff and they're like,
that
well, your
one-
creature will be here.
That one goes back to
And
you.
we're like,
That one's going back to you
And
too,
there'll be
Don,
no
right
shooting
there.
it.
Oh, this is.
hopefully not.
Yeah, that's
Put it on
payroll.
at
and then
that, at
this is-
Farmhouse
Yeah.
Flowers. Huh, that's cool.
So it was 2 people from the state and then they had
Oh, wait, this one too?
Yeah, that one, you gotta go to you too.
Dave Lasky and his wife came and helped with a bunch of stuff. So that was really cool.
Cal, you got looked at these, right? Yep.
Yes, I looked at those.
Yep.
I didn't do those.
No, right here, okay.
Yep, I didn't do those,
Okay.
but I did those. Do we do special event permits for the roads?
For the roads, you mean,
Yeah.
for like traffic and shit?
Like running, they usually
Yeah.
send an email like 6 months ahead and just ask the county, the select board permission, but we haven't gotten any.
Wow, look how much it costs for the
Why, are you talking about the road race or whatever?
Yeah, Center Vermont Runners did a road
School
race.
Street lights.
And they were up on the Moretown section of Jones Brook.
$383. What is
And
that?
it was pretty congested at 9:30 in the morning. It was a little difficult going down the road. Because they had people coming up the road, not running single file, down the road, not going single file.
Yeah. What are these lights?
They always do that.
Because I know they
79
come
School
in
Street
as,
lights, 79
Berlin.
School Street. Is that here?
Yeah, that's here.
It's not like the street lights we keep talking about every once in a while, right? No. That's what.
Yeah, kilowatts,
that's-
so there's 322 kilowatts here.
Yeah, look at this one. This is a 1,730.
So,
Wonder what that is.
You're looking at Green Mountain Power.
yeah, but
You have a description on each. On the front page, it shows which
right. All right, yeah,
it's
so
a
you
yearly.
for.
Oh, so here are your street lighting. Yeah, that's what that is. Where's the $1,700 one? Because we were wondering if we were, who was in charge of that? Who pays for it? The street lights? Because I. Huh. Interesting. Energy efficiency charge. Oh, they're not even. Oh, so it is Green Mountain Power on the street lights. Maybe we could talk to them sometime. I'm not finding that one for $1,700.
are they, perhaps some of them, are they added or are they all, because there seems to be
Oh, 1,700 kilowatts.
kilowatts
Four
ported
on
by.
that. Yeah, sorry, here it is
Yeah,
right here. 79 School Street, doesn't say this.
Tell you which one's there.
Interesting.
Question answered, Don.
Yeah, that's
All right, how
good.
we all doing? Everyone good?
Good.
All right, so I'm going to do a
Chat,
chat.
I'm gonna chat.
All in favor, vote aye.
Hi.
Aye. Thanks, everyone,
Thank you.
for coming. Travis, have a nice night. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming, Travis.
Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to chat with you.